Let's build a model in epanet-js. So we can start by looking at our network and finding where we want our source of supply to be. So we can see here, we switch to the satellite view. We can see an elevated tank. So the first thing that we can do is take this tank object and place it directly on the tank. We can then select the object and make a few changes. Let's change the maximum size to be 10 and to be 5 meters full, so about half full. And then we can start actually drawing out the network. So maybe you're used to, picking your junctions and picking a few points here, and, connecting the dots when you draw the network. And, while you can do that, there is an alternative option in epanet-js. You can instead just pick the starting point and double click, and it will add the end junction. Alternatively, as you're drawing the network and you're coming down, you can hold the control key. And it will place a junction wherever you have clicked while holding that control key. So we'll come around here, we'll hold control, and then we'll click the last one, and we'll add one thing here. And we can see quite quickly that we have created a water network. At this point, we can run the simulation. You can see the simulation was run successfully. We go to view reports, we can see the epanet report. We can then start looking at some simulation results. So if we click on a pipe, the first thing we see is there's no flow because we haven't added any demand, but we can see, the lengths have been set. And if we look at the junctions, we can see the pressure has also been set. And we can see that pressure value is different for each location. And that's because we also calculate the elevation for you automatically as you add junctions. And this means that as you draw out this network, we're already getting semi-realistic pressures, even with this worldwide DEM. If we go to the map tab here, and we choose to color by pressure, we can see some preliminary results for pressures here. But to make it more realistic, let's add a little bit of demand to get some water flowing through the network as well. So if we select this location here, we can add some demand. Let's just add 1 liter a second. We can click on this location here. We'll add 2 liters a second. And we can see our simulation is now out of date because we've made changes to it. We can press that simulation button. It's rerun and the simulation is now successful. If we select on a pipe, we can see there's 3 liters a second, which makes sense because we added 1 liter a second here and 2 liters a second here. And then epanet has actually calculated how that water has split between this loop, and then also calculated the new pressures, taking into account any sort of head loss that happens throughout the network as well. We can now do some visualization of flows through the network. So if we put in the color by flow, we can see the flow arrow showing the direction of the water and then which way it is heading through the network. And this gives us a very, very quick way to, do some preliminary assessments of networks or understand how they will operate, very quickly, much quicker than the traditional tools. There's a couple other helpful commands that are in epanet. If you do make a mistake, we do have undo redo here. So if we click this, you can see we can go back and forward. You can obviously use the keyboard commands for that as well. So Control Z, Y for redo. And at any point, you can see the simulation status down the bottom changes as well. So go back. You don't need to rerun because it's already at the latest settings. Soon we're going to be adding support for actual customer points, so we'll be able to actually import each of these individual properties and assign them directly, making it even easier to have realistic demands in the network and get your models up and running nice and quickly. For now, you can play around, draw some networks, or even import your own. Once you're done, you have the option to save the model, either save as or save, and then, load that into epanet or any other hydraulic model tool that you need, or keep working on it at a later date by sharing it with others.